Alright, the MVP race is starting to heat up across the NBA with guys like SGA, Jokic, Luka being involved. But what happens if we make the MVP award something you do not want to win? What that means is that we'll be removing the MVP from the NBA after every season. And I'm going to explain how this works while we sim to the trade deadline. So, like I said, we're going to sim to the trade deadline every single year and check out the top 5 in the MVP race. And at the end of the year, the person who wins the MVP will be removed from the NBA following the playoffs. We're going to set them to a 40 overall. We're going to make them like 60 years old, and they will be gone from the NBA forever. Let's get actually right into this. This is going to be a pretty fast-paced video. Let's get right to the trade deadline and see our first MVP race. We're now at the trade deadline in year number 1, and our MVP candidates for this first year are Wemby, Jokic, Luka, LaMelo, and Chet Holmgren. Okay. The top 4 are candidates I expected, but Chet Holmgren, he's the polar bear in Arlington, Texas, but you know what? Maybe he can pull off the upset and be the guy that gets eliminated from the NBA first. Anyways, we're going to simulate to the end of the first season. And while we're simming, if you like 2K challenges and rebuilds like these, make sure to like and subscribe. We're on the road to 5 subscribers, and you can help me out by just hitting the subscribe button and comment down below what do you think of this video. Anyways, I'm not gonna really, yap anymore. I'm just gonna cut right to the end of the season and show who the MVP is in year number 1. Alright, we're at the end of the season, and Wembanyama is the first guy to be eliminated from the NBA, and this really isn't shocking. I mean, this guy is literally a sim demon, so I don't think anyone is shocked that he's the first one gone here. Anyways, we're gonna simulate past the playoffs, and looks like it's going to be Wemby and James Harden in the finals. So Wemby's probably going to win this one. No, James Harden apparently gets a ring. All right. That's how you know we're in 2K. Anyways, so this is what we're going to do. Wemby, you had a great, I think 4 years to your career. You got to go now. We're going to set him all the way down to a 40 overall. And we're also going to edit his age, so he's like super, super old, so he will retire. And yeah, I'm going to just set it to like, furthest back I can go is 1967, I guess. So, he's 59 years old, and hopefully he auto-retires. If he doesn't auto-retire, then I'll just have to remove him from the NBA. And it looks like he did not auto-retire at all, so we're just going to release him, and that is going to be the end of his career because no one is going to pick him up. Alright, we're just going to move on to year number 2 because that's really all what we're going to do. Alright, we are now in year number 2, and honestly, comment down below who do you think the second MVP will be to be removed from the NBA. I got a feeling it's going to be Luka Doncic. He puts up a lot of interesting sim stats. He averages like 30 a game. I think that he is going to be the second MVP removed from the NBA, but I could be wrong. You never know. So if you think I'm wrong, make sure you let me know down in the comments, and I'm just going to cut right to the trade deadline and get past this boring sim. We're now at the trade deadline for season number 2, and our top 5 award race MVPs are actually Tatum. Ant-Man is averaging nearly 35 a game. Ja Morant's averaging 30, Giannis, and LaMelo Ball. Now, these were kind of the players that I expected to be in the MVP race. Well, not Ja Morant. I did not anticipate he'd average 31 a game. But these are all players that are usually within the MVP race in 2K after every season. So, who do I think it's going to be? I think it might be Ant-Man, honestly. Because I mean, he's going to be averaging 35 a game? I just don't see Tatum hanging on. Anyways, if you're fans of one of those two guys, you probably hope they don't win the award because they're gone from the NBA if they do. So let's just find out who it is right now, and it's actually going to end up being Anthony Edwards. He's averaging 35 a game, And yeah, I mean, I kind of anticipated he'd be the guy that gets eliminated, and that's going to be pretty much a death blow to the Minnesota Timberwolves because he's their main guy, and they kind of do everything through him. So that's the one downside of removing MVPs after every season. I mean, it's just going to absolutely ruin a team. And if you look at the rest of this roster, yeah, they're doomed. This team is doomed without him. Their highest is an 84 overall after Ant. They are doomed without him. So we're just going to make him like 59 years old yet again. And we're just going to sim past the championship. Cade wins the finals MVP. You know, I thought about maybe including finals MVP. I really did think about it. But I think that's just going to be another video. I think we're going to make sure that the finals MVPs aren't eliminated now. But Ant-Man did not retire. So we're going to release him and basically force his career to end. There we go. Ant-Man's career is over. And we're just going to move right on to year number 3. Alright, we're in year number 3 now. And like I said, this is going to be a fast-paced video. I'm trying to get through 20 seasons in this entire video. And if I kind of went at a slower pace, we'd literally be here for 2.5 hours. And unless you guys listen to these videos while you sleep, I don't think you guys are going to sit down and watch me yap for 2.5 hours. So we're going to cut right to the trade deadline. Alright, we're right back at the trade deadline. And I'm interested to see who are the 5 candidates to be eliminated after this season. And Giannis leads the MVP race. Behind him is Ja Morant, Jason Tatum, SGA's finally on here, and Cade Cunningham is on here as well. I mean, Giannis is nearly averaging 30 and like 12. But you can already see that removing the MVP has already had some effects on some teams. The Timberwolves are a lottery team now, as the result of removing Anthony Edwards from the NBA after he won the MVP in year number 2. Like, that's the whole point of this. I want to see how the NBA will change when we basically remove the best player statistically or voted upon every season. And let's just get right to the end of the season. Who will be year number 3's MVP? And we're right at the end of the season. It's going to be Giannis. Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be removed from the NBA. And Şengün is second team, so it looks like we're already starting to see some effects from removing the MVP. And Giddey is third team as an 84 overall. I mean, look, I get he's good in the sim, but like, we have an 84 overall making all NBA third team now. That's kind of crazy to me. And Giannis lost first round. So what we're honestly just going to do right here and right now is just set him to a 40 overall. Let's just get this out of the way right now because his team's out. We're basically just going to make sure that we just get this out of the way now so I don't forget in the offseason or anything. We're also going to make him like 40 years old. That's the max I can make it in quick edit. So that is what we are going to do. And Giannis, if you do not retire after this season, your career is over. So you better retire or you're done. Anyways, Mavs win the NBA Finals. Cooper Flag, I believe, was Finals MVP, and Giannis did not retire. I mean, I gave him the easy way, but now we're just going to go and manually release him and end his career. And really, that's all we're going to do in the offseason is just release players if they do not retire. So let's just get right to year number 4 and just keep the video moving. Alright, we are moving on to season number 4, and I think now that we're in season number 4, we're going to start seeing some of the players in some of the draft classes be up for MVP awards, like AJ Dybantsta, Darren Peterson. I did implement the IRL 26 and 27 draft classes. That's, I think, all I did. I don't think I did the 28 one. But, yeah, I wonder if we're going to see one of those guys up for an MVP this year or in the award race in general. Let's just go see. Alright, we're in the trade deadline and year number 4, and going to see who the MVP candidates are. It looks like they are going to be... Jokic is on the Bulls, and I said it, the first draft pick to be up for MVP nomination. Cameron Williams was the first pick in the 2027 NBA draft, and he's averaging 21 a game. I'm kind of surprised Luka's below him, but I mean, that's 2K for you, I guess. But anyways, I think Jokic has got it locked up. I mean, he's nearly averaging a triple-double, or I think he was averaging close to a triple-double. And 2K usually likes him in the sim anyway, so you know what? Let's just go and see who wins the MVP for number 4. Let's just quit the yapping, man. Alright, Jokic averaged 26, 11, and 7 to win the MVP, so he did nearly average a triple-double like I said he would. And yeah, we already have some draft class players like Darren Peterson, Cameron Williams, making all NBA teams, Cam Boozer. So we are starting to see some of the effects from removing the MVPs after every season, because now we're just starting to see more and more players that you would not expect to be on an NBA team this soon on an all-NBA team. And Jokic did end up losing early in the playoffs, so like what we did with Giannis, we're just going to get it out of the way immediately, and we're going to make sure that we set this guy to a 40 overall. So if for some reason he does not end up retiring at the end of the season, we can just like go and release him and not have to spend any additional time on, you know, setting him to a 40 overall there. Alright, so our finals are the Mavericks and the Heat, and Cooper Flag is literally on like a historic road. How is this guy not up for an MVP award? Like, genuinely, Cooper Flag is literally like a broken player in the sim, and I don't think I've seen him up for an MVP award once. Anyways, Kyrie, Rudy Gobert, and Anthony Davis are all retiring. Giannis retiring is good because it shows that when we release these players, it actually like ends their careers, and that's what I want to happen. So Jokic, your career is now over, and like I said, there's really no point in just staying in the offseason after that. We're gonna move on straight to year number 5. Alright, year number 5, we're 1/4 of the way down with this video, so let's give you guys a recap of the 4 MVPs so far: Wemby, Ant-Man, Giannis, and Nikola Jokic. I said it in year number 4, but we're in year number 5 now. I think we're going to start seeing more draft picks being up for MVP awards, because a lot of the big hitters like Jokic, Wemby, Ant-Man that would dominate the MVP races, they're gone from the NBA now. So it really leaves the MVP race wide open for these draft picks to reach it sooner. It would not shock me if I saw like 3 draft picks from the 26 or 27 draft that are up for the MVP. And speaking of MVP, we reached the trade deadline for year number 5. Let's go ahead and see who the MVP candidates are for year number 5. And Darren Peterson is the favorite, averaging 26. Cameron Williams 24. CJ Roster's averaging 23, and Tatum's averaging 30. I also just went ahead and set the draft class quality to 5. My whole idea behind this is that I know 2K can generate like some center demons in the draft classes, and I kind of want to see the league fall apart and not have a bunch of like centers win it every time. I mean, if you've played my NBA, you know how the 2K sim does it. Like, they have centers literally win every single award like 10 to 15 years in the future. It's kind of crazy. Let's just move on to see who our year number 5 MVP is, and it's actually going to be Cameron Williams. So our first draft pick MVP has been eliminated from the NBA, and he was only averaging 24 and 11. I mean, listen, if those are MVP numbers, then I mean, you got it, man. This Origin Serenchik, I think that's how you pronounce it. He's an 83 overall, but he's averaging like 23, I believe, on All-NBA second team. Like, that is what we're starting to see when we take all the good players out. You're starting to see names that you really wouldn't expect to be up there, but they're on there. And OKC also could not get past the first round, just like the 3 other MVPs. Oh, I guess when you win an MVP, you also don't get past the first round now. That's kind of interesting, but Cameron Williams, you got a short career in the NBA. You're gone now. We're removing you from the NBA. We're making sure you're like 60 years old, and you're done. You're done, and we're just going to cut to the NBA championship and see who wins it this time. It's going to be Pistons Warriors, and Tatum averaged 37 in the conference finals, but Cade still gets it done. And guys like Kawhi Leonard, Domantas Sabonis, and Pascal Siakam, are now done from the NBA, and I actually didn't need to release Cameron Williams this time. He had a team option for $20 million. The Thunder declined it. Oh my goodness, I am sleep deprived. Let's just go to year number 6, man. And year number 6, man, we, I think, are now going to see more draft picks win MVPs. I mean, Darren Peterson nearly won it last year. His main competition was Cameron Williams, and he got eliminated. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you made it this far also, just, like, comment down below who do you think is going to win the MVP. I don't think I said this earlier in the video, but if I did, then, yikes. Just comment it down below anyways. We're at the trade deadline for year number 6. Looking at our MVP candidates, the top 5 for year number 6 are going to be Darren Peterson, CJ Rosser, LaMelo, Luka, and Tatum. I mean, I did say it before this season began that Darren Peterson might win the MVP this year because he came up short to Cameron Williams last season. CJ Rosser, I believe, I don't know if he's a real, I think he is a real player. Yeah, he has to be a real player because he was in the 27 draft class. The guy's a real person either way. But, yeah, I think Peterson, like I said earlier, has got it on locks. I don't think anyone else is going to come and win it and take it from him. And I turn out to be correct because he is going to win MVP, and Darren Peterson will be eliminated from the NBA. I believe this will be his 4th season. 3rd or 4th season, I think. Somewhere in that range. Anyways, yeah, that CJ Rosser guy, like I said earlier in the video, I think he's a demon. Paolo Banchero, his first team. That's very surprising. He usually builds houses, but he's averaging 30. He's not building a house today in this simulation. Alright, we're going to go ahead and just, like, get through the playoffs yet again. And, man, I hate to do this. This Sixers team is insane. They have Tyrese Maxey, Darren Peterson, and VJ Edgecombe. That would be such a good big 3, man. But you won the MVP, so you are going to be gone from the NBA. And let's just move on past the finals and just get right to the offseason. And, oh, we have a first pick tournament now? Hopefully the NBA doesn't do this in real life. Because what I think is going to happen is that the good teams are just going to win all their games. And we're going to have a literal, like, near play-in team get the number 1 pick. Yeah, the 14 seed Denver Nuggets are in the quarterfinals. Like, hopefully this tournament doesn't happen in real life. The Nuggets and the Pacers, like OKC, are in the conference. It's the Thunder and the Pelicans in the finals. What is this? And the Pelicans win, so they get the number 1 pick. Sorry for that little detour. I just didn't see that before in the simulation, and I just wanted to see it play out. Anyways, Darren Peterson, regardless, is gone from the NBA, so we're going to move on. Alright, we're on to year number 7, guys, and I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I don't have much to yap about. I think the only thing I'm going to do is just show the history of our MVPs so far throughout the first 6 seasons of the simulation. And comment down below, just real quick, who do you think is going to win in year number 7? I know I'm asking you guys to comment down below a lot, but you know, I mean, you don't have to, but it would certainly help to hear from you guys. We're at the trade deadline in year number 7 now, so we're going to go ahead and see who the MVP favorite is now. And our top 5 are this Ogden Shurensik guy is now the favorite to win MVP, followed by CJ Rosser, Luka, Cooper Flag's finally on here, and Jason Tatum. That guy's an 87 overall, and he's averaging 27, 8, and 7. Wow, I mean, he might just be like the greatest 87 overall I've ever seen. Maybe we need to do a career sim. Maybe we need to find him and do a career sim in a separate video. Ooh, that does sound like a good idea. I might do it later. You never know. You might see an Ogden Shurensik career simulation, but let's just move on to the end of the season. Well, CJ Rosser ended up winning the MVP. It was not Ogden. So, CJ Rosser, you are done from the NBA after this season. Braden Berry's 2nd team nomination. And Mate Pavelski, an 84 overall, averaging 17, has made the 3rd team for all NBA, I guess. Yeah, we're just going to move past these playoffs once again. It looks like we have a Hornets and Rockets finals, but CJ Rosser did not get to the finals. So we're going to make sure that we take care of this now and get him out of the NBA. You did not make the finals, therefore you are out. And yes, I did say at the beginning of the video that they'd be eliminated after the offseason, but I might do a little bit of a mix of both. Convenient for me, and honestly, either way, the player is eliminated after their season ends. So they're technically in the offseason, and Rosser was not retiring, so we just ended up cutting him. And we're just going to move right on to year number 8. So we're nearly halfway done, and we are now in year number 8. Nearly halfway done, like I just said. And, you know, I mean, I think this league is going to get even crazier as this sim progresses, because we're just going to see more and more new names that I don't think anyone would have really thought would be there that soon in their careers on the MVP list. And we've also, by removing the top talent in the NBA, we're also like making sure that the All-NBA teams are kind of weird as well. We're kind of starting to reach that point once we get to halfway, but we're in the trade deadline now for year number 8, and our top 5 in the MVP race are going to be Stefan Jokimovic. He's averaging 25. Luka, Cade Cunningham, and I guess the Nets just have a super team now. Marcus Spears Jr. and Jared Babcock. That's gotta be the Shaq and Kobe of like the 2030s, I guess. But unfortunately, if those two or one of those two win an MVP, we're not gonna have a Shaq and Kobe of the 2030s. And let's see, are one of them gonna win the MVP, or is it going to be Jokimovic winning the MVP? And Stefan Jokimovic, I cannot pronounce his name, but whatever his name is, he won the MVP, so he is going to be removed from the NBA. Lloyd Scales is a 83 overall on that All-NBA second team. That's averaging 25. I mean, you see interesting players all the time now, and the Jazz ended up getting eliminated, so we're just going to go ahead and remove Jokimovic. That's how you pronounce it. Yeah, Jokimovic. We're going to remove him from the NBA, and let's just, after that, move on to seeing who our NBA champion is, and then we're just going to go right to the offseason to see if he retires. It's a Hornets-Clippers finals. Darius Acuff is your finals MVP. Cat, Bam, Donovan Mitchell, all gone from the NBA, but Jokimovic is not gone from the NBA, so we're going to get him out of the NBA now, and honestly, we're just going to move right on to year number 9. And alright, we're going to move on to season number 9, and low-key, I just got done playing basketball, and my thumb is really, really hurting. I got absolutely smacked on the hand when I was going to steal a ball. I might have to low-key get it looked at. Yeah, like every time I bend it, it hurts pretty bad. Hopefully it's not broken, because that would take me quite a bit of time to edit these videos and get them out. But yeah, on that note, I think we're just going to see how season 9 plays out. We're almost halfway done with this video itself, because we are going 20 seasons. Comment down below if you are still watching this video nearly halfway in, and we're just going to move right on to the trade deadline. And now we are at the trade deadline for year number 9, and our MVPs are Marcus Spears, Ja Morant, Chris Washington Jr., Junior Adrian, and Cameron Boozer. So we are definitely starting to see a lot of generated players and some of our players from our draft classes. And yeah, I'm just going to low-key keep this quick, because I may need to get this thumb looked at soon, honestly. We're just going to move on to the offseason. Alright, Marcus Spears was your MVP for year number 9. So Marcus Spears is going to be out of the NBA after this season, and that sucks, because that Brooklyn Nets team was low-key stacked. Honestly, that was a very good squad. They won the championship. Congratulations, you're an NBA champion, and you got injured? Too bad. You're out of the NBA forever. Man, that's going to really hurt this Nets team, because this Nets team, I think, would have been a dynasty if we didn't change it, but they're losing their second best player, so now they're obviously not going to be a real good team anymore. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead, set this guy's age to like 60 years old, or the max I can set it to, and we're just going to move on to season number. All right, we're in the off season now, getting ready for season number 10, and I checked the Nets roster. They did not have Marcus Spears Jr. retire, so I did release him. Hopefully, he does not re-sign with the Nets. I don't think he should. But anyways, we're in season number 10. Tatum is going to end up retiring after this season. And now we're officially at the halfway point of this video. And honestly, halfway in, we've already started to see the league, in my opinion, start to really get some smaller names winning MVPs. Like, honestly, that Joke Smovich guy who won it a couple years ago, I did not really think that would be a guy that could win an MVP. And 87 overall really won an MVP. That's kind of crazy. But anyways, we're just going to keep the video moving. We're going to move right to the trade deadline for year number 10. And here we are at the trade deadline for season number 10. Our MVP candidates are going to end up being Ogden Sharenzik, Chris Washington, Cade Cunningham, Cooper Flagg, and I believe Jared Babcock, but Ogden's averaging 28 a game. His luck may finally run out. And the Hawks are 7-49? 7-45, excuse me. That is actually crazy. I don't think I have seen a team do that bad in quite a long time. That is actually crazy that the Hawks are 7-49. Anyways, MVP season number 10, it's going to be Jared Babcock. So the Nets have been completely destroyed. I mean, that sucks for them. They've really assembled, in my opinion, a team that would have probably dominated for the entire of the rest of the simulation. But now, both of them won MVP, so they are now both out of the NBA after this season. The Nets are now out of the playoffs, and Jaden Carr is your Western Conference Finals MVP. The Bucks win the championship, but we're going to go right to demolishing the final piece of this Nets Big Three, and they literally have a center that is going to replace him. An 88 overall center that will literally replace this guy's production. That's actually crazy. So really, this might not end up hurting them in the long term, but in the short term, they're definitely going to be impacted. Moving on to the offseason, a bunch of retirements. Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Zion are all out of the NBA. And the Nets ended up not only not releasing Babcock, but they did re-sign Marcus Spears Jr. So they're both going to be removed from the NBA immediately. And without further ado, we are just going to move on to year number 11, and Luka is retiring after this season. I'm honestly surprised that Luka did not win a single MVP in this simulation. I mean, he could win it this year, but I highly doubt it. He's probably washed at this point, but the dude literally averages 30 points a game, and he could not win a single MVP this season. But in any other simulation I do, he wins like 5 straight MVPs. It does not make any sense, I'm telling you. Nothing makes sense sometimes about 2K, but anyways, we're just going to move to the trade deadline for year number 11. And here we are at the trade deadline for year number 11, and our MVP candidates are going to be Junior Adrian, Cade Cunningham, Lloyd Chase, Lewis Perry, and Magnus Johansson. I'm pretty sure I saw Magnus Johansson average like 10 a game like in year number 3, so he's definitely come a long way since then. But anyways, yeah, I think I do need to get this thumb looked at low-key. It is hurting like hell. I'm just going to move right to the MVP race for year number 11. And surprise, surprise, Cooper Flagg is your MVP. The algorithm is finally going to be removed from the NBA. I think he had like 3 rings in this simulation. And that really just shows that you can put like anything next to Cooper Flagg and he's going to win you an NBA championship. Anyways, moving on to the playoffs for year number 11. And it looks like, oh, I just pressed the wrong button. Finally got the playoffs to simulate now. And now, Randolph James Jr., is that like Bronny's son? Adai Mara is your finals MVP. That is, overcade is crazy. But we're just going to move to getting Cooper Flag out of the NBA. And, I mean, the dude averaged 30 in the playoffs. Mr. Algorithm himself is now going to be out of the NBA in season number 11. Let's just move right on to the offseason. Luka's gone. Moses Moody retired, by the way. And Cooper Flag ended up not retiring, so we just removed him from the NBA. And we're just going to go right ahead and move on to season number 12. We're almost 3/4 of the way through this video. We're getting there. But let's just move on to season number 12. Ja Morant is going to retire in season number 12. And I'm just going to quickly highlight our MVPs so far, the last 11 MVPs, because we are nearly 3/4 of the way through this video. And honestly, I'm going to be real with you guys. I do need to get this thumb looked at, bro. It is starting to bruise and swell, and it's low-key really hurting, man. I'm going to go quickly get it looked at, probably in the off-season, honestly, or at the trade deadline. Alright, I made an executive decision. I'm going to get this thumb looked at after I do this trade deadline stuff. But anyways, Jake Carr is your MVP favorite right now, 21-11. Apparently, Cam Boozer is averaging 27 points per game, and he's only 4th on the MVP ladder. That's kind of surprising. But Junior Adrian and Jake Carr, they're definitely going to be two people I think that the MVP is going to be decided by. It's definitely a close MVP, in my opinion. We just got the trade deadline stuff done now. We looked at our MVPs. I'm going to just go get this thumb looked at after we get right to the end of the season, and I'll see you guys when I am back from that. All right, let's start off with the bad news. Junior Adrian is your MVP. He's out of the NBA. The good news is I did not break my thumb, so we are going to continue to soldier on and record this video. But Junior Adrian, I mean, dude averaged 21 and 9, and those are MVP numbers, I guess. Maybe we're starting to see the league get affected by the amount of MVPs getting removed now that we're in year number 12. We've had, you know, a lot of players that usually dominate the sim, like Cooper Flag, Wemby, Ant-Man, all be eliminated from the NBA because they won an MVP. Junior Adrian is going to be the next player that gets removed from the NBA. And, I mean, he was up there a couple of years in the MVP voting, so the writing was low-key on the wall for him. And we're going to take a look real quick at the NBA championship. The Wizards won. So Ja Morant has retired. Isaiah Stewart is out of the league. And we're just going to quickly move on now to season number 13. While we're saying, man, I'm just kind of frustrated low-key by the performance of my team, the Detroit Pistons, man. Orlando just completely annihilated us in game 1. We fought back in game 2, but like that game 3 is going to be very important for us. Anyways, let's stop getting sidetracked. We're in season number 13, and we're just getting closer. Like I said, we're nearly 3/4 through this video, and I've got a feeling that Jake Carr is not going to survive this time. He's going to be winning the MVP and getting out of the NBA. I mean, he's literally nearly averaging like a triple-double. 2K loves those players, and I just don't think he's going to be safe. Yeah, he's averaging 21 and 12. He is 100% out of the NBA after this season. 21, 12, and 6, and a block a game. If you average those numbers and you're trying not to win the MVP, you're literally asking to retire early. I mean, I don't know if an NBA player would want that. I mean, you get to make like 30 million and retire early. And that will be the case for Jake Carr because he won the MVP. He's been up on the board for a couple of years. And wait a minute, is that You Bet? If you know that one, you know ball. But DJ Augustine has been reincarnated into a center who averages 21 a game for the Grizzlies. Anyways, Mike Saunders, I just found this 99 overall. Did that say 14 a game? You are a 99 overall player, and you are averaging 14 points a game. 14. How? Like, genuinely, how? I don't understand that. Anyways, we're going to move on to getting Jake Carr out of the NBA. I mean, this guy is basically like, I would say, probably the next Nikola Jokic if he was not out of the NBA, but he is going to be removed from the NBA, and I think low-key this Knicks team can survive without them. They got that Reeves guy who's a 92 overall. They can low-key survive without him. But anyways, we're going to move on to season number 14. Cade Cunningham is going to retire from the NBA in season number 14. And here's a quick look at the Spurs roster if you're wondering what this team was doing for the last 13 years. But now we're in season number 14. What in the world? Why are the scores this low? 37 to 44? Did the game break? I think the game may have broke here in season number 14 because we're getting scores like 46 to 48, 71 to 73. Like, these are low-scoring games. I mean, these must be the games that people were talking about in the 90s, how basketball was played, man. Anyways, we're going to move on to the trade deadline in season number 14. And what in the world? We have an MVP candidate averaging 13 a game. Another one is averaging 11.4. And another is averaging 10 points a game. Dash Daniels is averaging 10 points a game and is a MVP candidate. Yeah, something broke. I'm checking in the offseason because there is no way we instantly go from Jake Carr, who is averaging like a triple-double at 20 points a game, to now having a player averaging like 10 a game and being an MVP candidate. There's just no way. Something must have happened in the offseason. Maybe a rule change. Maybe it's the draft class quality. Maybe finally it took that long for it to impact our league. But our MVP for season number 14 is Luis Perry, and he's averaging 11 points a game. Did that say like 5 rebounds too? 3 rebounds! You are a center, and you are averaging 11 points and 3 rebounds a game. Like, these are MVP numbers now. I guess the NBA has just been impacted so much to this point by season number 14 that we are now getting MVP candidates that are averaging like 10 a game, and all NBA players that are averaging 13 a game. I mean, 13 might be the new 30-point game, 30 points per game in this league, honestly. Zachariah Richacher is apparently now a star for the Mavericks. Jasper Johnson, Finals MVP, and we're going to go ahead and get Luis Perry out of the NBA. You are probably the worst MVP I've ever seen. Like, I don't even think back in, like, the 1930s when the NBA started, or, like, the 40s, the 50s, that there was an MVP that averaged 11 points a game. No way. And I think I might have found the reason why. They increased the shot clock to 45 seconds, and they only gave him 6 seconds to advance the ball off the clock. That may have broken the sim, because these players, they can take a bit to get it up the court, and since possessions are literally like a minute long now, no one's going to be scoring. Anyways, we're now in season number 15. We are officially 3/4 of the way done with this video. Comment down below if you are still here and watching maybe like the worst MVPs now of all time. This is what this season and probably the next 5 are going to be. You're going to see probably the worst MVPs in all of NBA history. So apparently if we remove all the MVPs from the NBA, it breaks the league, I guess. And we're going to move on to the trade deadline for season number 15. Our MVP candidates are going to be... Lloyd Chase is averaging 13.4. That's like 40 points per game in this league. Dylan Harper's up there, 13 a game. Tyler Caldwell, 13 a game as well. And we're just going to simulate because, man, we're about to see the worst MVPs of all time. I know I've said this like 900 times, but we literally are going to see the worst MVPs of all time. This is like an 8th or 9th man on the bench production that these MVPs are giving us. Tyler Caldwell is your MVP. He drops a huge 14 points a game to solidify himself as the best player in the NBA. So he's going to get removed after this season, and we're just going to keep on simming. Maybe the Spurs can win a championship in this simulation. They do. Dylan Harper, 15 a game, but Tyler Caldwell, you are out of the NBA, Tyler Caldwell. You averaged 14, I think 13, 14. I don't know. My memory, low-key, is kind of not that good right now, but we're just going to cut him as well, and we're just going to move right on to number 16. Before we move on to season number 16, though, let's check out our player retirements. Franz Wagner, Anthony Black, Stephen Castle. But here we are, season number 16 in the year 2040. And who will be the next MVP in this league? I'm going to predict that we're going to see a jump in scoring. We're going to see an MVP that averages, let's say, maybe 17 a game. 17 a game is kind of being conservative, but you got to remember that 17 points now is basically like dropping 50. Here we are, taking a look at our MVP candidates. Magnus Johansson is the favorite, but he's averaging 13.6 points a game. Wait, we have two MVP candidates that are averaging 8.5 a game and 9 points a game. You cannot be serious. We have two MVP candidates that are averaging under 10 points a game. That's unbelievable, man. But our MVP for season 16 is going to end up being Simon Johnson. He flies up the board late. He averages 13 points a game. And does that say 6 points a game for Rookie of the Year? This league is absolutely cooked. DJ Augustine, you bet, is averaging, let's see, he's now averaging 10 points a game. How isn't he an MVP candidate? We got guys that are averaging 8 points a game being MVP candidates, but Mr. DJ Augustine averaging 10 cannot be one, I guess. Anyways, Mavericks win the championship. Let's just move on to the offseason for season number 17, and we have to make sure we remove Simon Johnson from the NBA now before we head into season number 17 itself. I mean, imagine you're an NBA player in this era, right? You have big dreams, big ambitions. You average 13 points a game, and you get removed from the NBA before you can even, like, win an MVP, win a championship. Imagine, like, this is the league we're in right now, that you can be an MVP and average, like, 13 points a game. It's unbelievable. We're in season number 17, though, and we're just going to keep moving because, honestly, there's really no point in, like, yapping a ton when the MVPs are just going to literally be some of the worst that you've ever seen in your life. Like, if you play in like a YMCA league or anything, you could probably put up better numbers than the guys in the sim. And does that say 50-44? Yeah, man. This league is absolutely cooked. Just go to the trade deadline for year number 17, please. For year number 17, our MVP candidates are Alan Dunleavy Jr., Sr., actually, 12 a game. Oh, wait, the numbers are going up. Jackson McKinney is averaging 15 a game. And I believe that guy, the other guy that was on the Pacers, is averaging 14 a game. Maybe the league is coming back. Maybe we're back. Maybe we're going from 11 points per game to 15 points per game. Let's find out real quick. Our MVP is Rudy Cousins. He averaged 14.5 a game. Shot 51% from three, so I guess they also don't want to shoot the basketball. But Lloyd Shays is your Western Conference Finals MVP, but he loses in the finals to the Cavs. And we're going to go ahead and remove Rudy Cousins from the NBA before we head on to season number 18. Going to make sure that he's also like 40 years old. And then we're just going to do the usual and cut him so he's out of the NBA. Just before we move on, let's recap our MVPs. And right at Luis Perry and above are all like not legit MVPs. The MVPs below him are all legitimate MVPs. The rest of them, there's no way. Like Rudy Cousins, I'm sorry, your MVP is not legitimate. There's no way. But anyways, we got past that. We're just gonna simulate now to year number 18. Only 3 more seasons left in this simulation. And I know I've been yapping a lot. I literally said this like in the last part before I went to season number 17, but I'm just gonna sim. I'm not gonna yap a lot. We're just gonna go right to the trade deadline for season number 18. Here we are at the trade deadline, season number 18, and Casey Bradley, ooh, he averaged 16 points a game. We might be coming back. We might be finally getting MVPs with like respectable numbers, like 16 points a game. That might get you like an all NBA third team or something. Anyways, Alan Dunleavy Sr. is the MVP, averaging 15 a game, 8 boards, and a block. He's in the finals against the Houston Rockets, and he will end his NBA career by winning a championship. I believe he went back-to-back because he also won it last season as well. But man, this guy's 7'3" too. Like, imagine if the league wasn't broken. Like, this was probably gonna be our Wemby. But we're in year number 19. Like I said, because we're in like the final stages of this video and the MVPs are broken, we're just gonna move like super quick. I did notice though, scoring is kind of getting better. We reached 80 points in the Thunder game, so you never know. But we're at the trade deadline now. Season 19, Casey Bradley. Ryan Lucas is averaging 21. We're so back. We are so back. Ryan Lucas is averaging 21 points a game. That actually is like legitimate MVP numbers. So hopefully he wins the MVP, so we have like someone legitimate to eliminate and not like bench scorer numbers. But unfortunately, he did not win MVP. I believe that's Casey Bradley. He won the MVP award, averaging 15 points per game. And, well, yeah. He will be out after that. Tyron Stokes is still in the league. Kind of surprising, not gonna lie. He's got to be in like his 30s. But Jonathan Davidson, finals MVP for that. But Casey Bradley, you are out. And this has got to be like the second or third OKC MVP that I've eliminated so far. I swear, we eliminated that guy like season 3, but I swear there was another OKC MVP after that. I could be wrong though. But before we move on to the final year in this video, I just want to highlight the MVPs that have been won so far through 19 seasons. We've got some great MVPs like Wemby, Ant, we got Jokic, CJ Rosser, Marcus Spears Jr. We've got some bad MVPs like Luis Perry, Rudy Cousins. But now, season number 20, we have reached the final season of this video, and I just want to thank you guys so much for sticking through all 20 seasons and finding what is going to happen when we just remove the MVP after every season. I've been thinking about an idea like this, and I think I've got some more ideas that I'm going to unleash soon in a couple of videos. It might not be, quick, because these next 2 weeks I have exams and projects I literally have to do for said exams, so those are going to be my full attention, but I'm also going to try to at least get a video out each week. This video might be one of those videos that comes out as a once per week video in one of those 2 weeks. Hopefully not, because I do want to get a playoff rebuild in before that, because the Rockets are probably going to lose and the Suns are probably going to lose. I want to do one of those. Maybe a Trailblazers rebuild too with a little twist on it. But anyways, season number 20, we are at the trade deadline. And our final MVP candidates, Cole Peterson's averaging 20. Jonathan Davison's averaging 17. Magnus Johansson's averaging 18. I think the league is slowly starting to fix itself. It's slowly starting to get better. Cole Peterson is averaging 20, like I said, but he's gone from like 16 to 14 to 12. The league is healing, but it's just going to be healing right when we end this video. Jonathan Davidson is your final MVP, averaging 17 points per game. And our final playoff simulation, it looks like, is going to be a finals of the Bulls and the Rockets. And the Rockets will be our final NBA champions. We're going to cap off this video by getting Jonathan Davidson out of the NBA. He is the final player to be eliminated, the final MVP, I shall say, to be eliminated from the NBA in this 20-year simulation. And there we go. There you have it. If we remove the MVP after every season in the NBA, it gives you the worst possible MVPs of all time in like the 2040s. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like videos like these, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.